if you're stuck in Strategyville, constantly seeking out what is that exact strategy that's going to work for you to grow your business, or if you think you're lacking some kind of knowledge or understanding, and that's the gap between where you are and where you want to go, let me share a little story with you today that may cause you to challenge that belief. So I too have been this way for many, many years. Like, I'm a voracious reader and consumer of courses, and you should see the DMs between me and my colleagues back and forth just about, hey, here's what's working on YouTube. Hey, you should try this. Hey, this guy's making $100K a month with this school group strategy. Hey, look at this, look at that. Reading all these books. And the truth is, like, if someone asked me, like, how much do you really have to show for all this information you've consumed, for all these courses and coaching that you've bought, the answer is embarrassingly little. There's really not that much that I could say, oh yeah, it really worked, or I really was missing some special strategy and I found it and everything changed. And so this last week, actually, I was in a challenge, another coaching program, right? It was by Myron Golden, and it was called the Make More Offers Challenge. And I was like, yeah, I'm always trying to learn more about how to level up my offer creation strategy, and something about that name, Make More Offers. I was like, am I not making enough offers? I wanted more strategy. I want him to tell me what to do. If you don't know Myron, you should definitely check him out. He's one of Russell Brunson's proteges. He does 7 figures a month and is a big name on YouTube and published author several times over. Anyways, so it's a 5-day challenge. And, I show up with my notepad. I'm like, he's finally going to tell me what to do to, explode my coaching business. And it was weird because he spent so much time talking about principles and talking about, like, being the person that you need to be in order to do what you need to do so that you can get the outcome you want. There's a saying, actually, be, do, have, that he brought up, which I've heard before, but for some reason it didn't really land with me all the way. And it's like this idea of, if you want to have a certain outcome, of course you're going to need to do something different to get that outcome. And that's usually where most people live. That's where I was living in the what do I need to do to get the outcome land, and missing the one step that comes before that, which is, who do you need to be in the first place that would then do the things you need to do to have what you want to have. And Myron really, just through spending time with him and the level of confidence and certainty that he has in himself at this point, it really just rubbed off on me. It was weird. It was just him, talking about what he does. And the dude is very into the Bible. He was sharing all these stories and biblical principles and morals and things like that. And I was just like, wow, this is really, really deep. And part of me was like a little pissed throughout the challenge because it didn't feel like he was presenting us with a concrete strategy. There was some loose strategy, like some light level kind of homework, like fill out this worksheet and post a video in the group. And for some people, I think that was valuable because they had never posted a video anywhere before. And so he was actually teaching them to start to become the person that would post a video, right? Because a lot of you out there who are maybe on the sidelines and you haven't gotten into this game yet, it's not that you need to learn YouTube strategy. It's that you need to become the type of person who will post a video, and it requires being a new person, right? It's like this whole new thing of like, what are people going to think about me? And you have to get over that huge fear of doing that and become one of the people that you're sitting there consuming the content from, that just does it with confidence, like every single day. And you want to be like them. But if you're not doing what they're doing, you're never going to have what they have. And so some of the people in the challenge were doing that. And for me, one of the things that I realized is that I've been undervaluing my services, and the value of them. I went in and revisited a lot of the different offers that I have, and I was like, these are worth way more than I'm charging for them. And it's literally just been some belief I have in my brain that's preventing me from charging what I'm worth. It's like, I need to become someone who believes in my worth and, projects the confidence around what I do. And somehow being around Myron in this challenge transformed me into a person who really believes that I can charge a good bit more for my time than I was before. And so it was just this weird transmission of energy. I don't know if you've ever felt like that happened to you before too, where maybe you had dinner with someone who was way more successful than you, and they didn't necessarily teach you anything like strategic, but they just kind of put off this level of confidence and certainty in them, and it rubbed off on you, and you left the dinner just feeling more empowered. I know going to a lot of Brendan Burchard's seminars over the years definitely had that effect on me. I felt like a freaking superhero for the 3 weeks after I left, and then unfortunately the feeling would die off. And so anyways, there's this really intangible thing about being around someone who has more confidence and certainty than you do now, because they're not just going to have more confidence and certainty in themselves, they're going to have more in you as well. They're going to look at you and be like, why aren't you doing more? Because they truly believe that more is possible for you than you currently believe. And so, I'll share one other thing that Myron talked about is that the facts are what they are about life. And you may look at a fact and be like, man, if I had a book, it would help me, it might help me grow my business. And then there's you can look at, but that's neutral, right? It's just, there's like a book. How you choose to assess the facts about that determines how you feel. So if you are like, man, writing a book would be really hard and it would take really long, that is a negative view on a fact. And if you focus on the negative aspect of a fact, which is neutral, it will cause a feeling in your heart of anxiety. And when you feel anxious, your hands are tied. You are no longer empowered, and you can't say yes, you can't move forward and write your book. If instead you focus on the positive aspect of the fact of, oh, I could write a book to grow a business and it would give me authority and credibility and land me clients and explode my career, then the feeling that gets created in your heart is anticipation. And when you have anticipation, then you will feel empowered. And what will your hands do? They will move and they will act. And so he was teaching this in terms of helping you sell premium offers, is you've got to get your prospects to focus on the positive aspects of the facts so they have a feeling of anticipation, and then they are empowered to act and say yes to your offer and move forward. And that framework really blew my mind. I was like, yeah, I can use this, in my sales calls. But I also realized that because he's talking about how people make decisions. It's cognitive behavioral psychology is basically that framework. And I was like, well, I'm not separate from this either. This is how I make decisions in my business. This is how I decide whether to move forward or not to. And so I realized that if I'm someone who focuses on the negative aspects of the facts and that creates a feeling of anxiety in me, then I'm essentially handcuffing myself from moving forward and from making progress in my business. And it's not necessarily like what I believe is not necessarily true. One thing that Myron taught is that we don't believe things because they're true. We think things are true because we believe them. And so if facts are neutral, the things that you choose to believe about the facts become what you think is true, but it's really just an angle you can take. It's why two people can look at the same fact and create complete opposite opinions about it. And so I know this video is a little bit all over the place, but the takeaway for me this week in terms of my own growth has been that this is more of an inside game than I have ever believed previously. And we are literally just being like guided by our feelings about things. There's a lot of people that I talk to that want to start a coaching business and they don't. And it's not that they like, I can sit there and be like, why haven't you posted any content? Why haven't you done this? But for whatever reason, they're looking at the facts and they've built their own frame around the facts where they're focusing on some negative aspect of it. Like, well, I can't define my niche or something. And then that has led to a feeling of anxiety and kind of a feeling of being stuck. And they can't move forward because that feeling is in their way. So my challenge to you, and the one that I'm thinking about for me, is to ask yourself, who do I need to become first? What type of person would do something differently than what I'm doing right now on the inside? Because you don't need a new set of tools or strategy or tactics. You're not missing one more lead magnet or book or course or coach or whatever. If you spend money on that and you don't change who you are, then nothing will change. You're not necessarily missing strategy. You've probably paid for coaching in the past. And then when the coach told you to do something that was new and didn't make sense, you didn't do it. And that was another thing Myron talked about, is like the things that the coaches tell you to do that don't make any sense or that terrify you. Those are the most important things to do, because if you already knew what to do, then you would have already done it and you wouldn't need a coach to tell you. So you pay for a coach or whatever to tell you to do something new and different. And that's going to challenge you on a different level. And you may have to become a different person in order to do the thing. It's not just about, oh, I was digging over here, tell me to dig over there. You're probably going to have to do something that's uncomfortable. And the old you wasn't doing that and was avoiding it. You might, like, I told one of my friends, like, I'm just not the type of guy who has like high energy in my YouTube videos. I'm not going to be one of those guys or whatever. And he's like, what made you decide that that was true for you? And it really had me stop and think about it. I was like, how did I decide that I am that type of, I'm just not that type of person? Does that mean it's like forever etched in stone that I'm, this person? And then what other decisions have I made about who I am that are hurting my success? I remember one of them was that this was years ago, I decided that I had so many interests that I just could not be tied down by one thing. I was never going to pick a niche. I was never going to like just offer one thing forever, because I was too fluid and I deserved to pursue my, curiosities and all this stuff. And so I literally decided that I was going to be someone who just was never going to be tied down to one niche or whatever. And then I end up changing my mind about that and writing a book called Nail Your Niche. The irony, right? It's like in this business, you always live on like the knife's edge of controversy because you're always like sharing where you're at today. And then a year from now, it's going to change because you're pushing your own boundaries. But yeah, like I'm on a journey of trying to become the person that I need to become to take things to the next level. And I know that there's a part of me that's hiding from the spotlight. I'm hiding like parts of my personality that I don't want you guys to see because you'll think that I am stupid or whatever. And so I'm like, I had a conversation with a buddy about this on the phone a couple days ago. It's like we're both trying to grow on YouTube, and it's like we're being a different person on YouTube than we are in real life. We're like pretending to be someone that we think we should be, and there's a disconnect there. And it's like, who would I need to become to be 100% myself on camera, right? So there's lots of these little areas where becoming a different person will then allow you to do the thing that you need to do, which in that case would be to show up authentically on camera and just be you. And then you can have what you want to have, which is probably more subscribers, because people don't want to follow someone if they're just a bullshit talking head. So I hope that was helpful. Be, do, have in that order. I recommend taking some time to journal on this, look at what you want to have, and look at what you know you need to do to get it, because you probably already know what you need to do, and you don't need to waste more money on courses. And then do the hard stuff and say, damn, who would I need to be in order to do these things so that I can have what I want to have? I know I made my own list of who I would need to be, and it was long, and it included things like stop checking your email all day, stop checking social media, stop watching garbage on YouTube, like freaking go to bed on time and meditate every day, and just always tell the truth and be honest and authentic. And, it was a long list of areas that I had to improve if I want to be the person that I'm going to need to be to take my business to the next level. I hope that helped somebody out there. Appreciate y'all being here, and I'll see you in the next video.